Hey, this is Mike from the Graphic Novel Show. Are you interested in starting and running your own podcast? Well, you know, this is the second one that we've done. We used to do a different one, and we decided to start this one. And last time we used Anchor, and you know what? We decided to go back with Anchor again because they are the easiest way to make a podcast. They give you everything you need in one place for free. You can do it right from your phone or on your computer. Anchor gives you creation tools that allow you to record and edit your podcast so it sounds great. You can do that right from your phone. That's quite amazing. They'll also distribute your podcast for you so it can be heard everywhere, like Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and many more. You can easily make money from your podcast with no minimum listenership. Now, what you need to do is go download the Anchor app or go to anchor.fm to get started.
Hi, I'm Parker.
And I'm Mike. And this is the Graphic Novel Podcast.
Welcome to our new podcast on the art of the graphic novel. Mike is the author of 10 books and produced Comics TV, which was a weekly TV show on comics for 7 years back in the 90s.
Back in the olden days. Together, we produced Northwest Brew Talk about the beer industry in the Northwest for 2 years. Now we're back, and this show is all about graphic novels.
Hi, I'm Parker.
And I'm Mike, and this is the Graphic Novel Podcast.
How are you doing this week?
Doing good.
Doing good, really?
Yes. Good.
Stuffed ourselves yesterday.
Yep, good turkey week.
Talked about indigenous people and
We did.
the land that we live on.
We did.
Yeah,
because especially where we are here in Washington, a lot of indigenous people still live here. A lot of tribe names everywhere.
Yeah, as there should be.
Well, I mean, it's
we live on stolen land.
Yes. Let's keep that for another story. Maybe when we talk about that. When
we haven't read
George
enough
Takei's
native works.
Story
well,
about internment. I know, but it's the United States being evil to people.
Yeah, we're pretty good at that.
But yeah. So anyhow, we had a good turkey day and got some good stuff. We will be going to Emerald City Comic Con.
Yeah, we got
March.
Our badges.
We have badges to go as not as media this year. They want to let us media, but we're going as professionals.
Episodes under our belt yet.
But by the time next year, the following one rolls around, we'll have 40-something episodes. So we should be.
Yeah.
Oh, we should be over 50.
Yeah.
By then.
We should be.
Yeah. So we should be pretty good by then.
Yeah.
Yeah. So looking forward to that. That'll be cool.
Definitely.
And we've got a good book today. It was a young adult book, YA book that we've talked about doing some. And this one is a pretty good story.
Sheets by Brenna Thummler.
Yes, and let's discuss
it. Let's do the little brief synopsis here.
Okay, you do that.
For Marjorie Glatt, being 13 years old isn't quite the same as it is for everyone else. Responsible for running her family's laundromat while trying to survive middle school, Marjorie's daily struggles include persnickety customers, snippy classmates, agonizing swim lessons, and laundry. Always, always laundry.
That is a laundromat.
Wendell is a bit different too. Wendell is a ghost. His daily struggles include dead youth support groups and unavoidable stains. But when he escapes from the land of ghosts and bumbles into Marjorie's laundromat, the perfect ghost playground, his attempts at fun and friendship begin to harm the family's business. Sheets is a powerful story about a young girl's perseverance, even when all odds are stacked against her. It shows that forgiveness and second chances can result in unlikely friendships. Above all, it is an invitation into an unusual, haunted laundromat that brings family, friends, and, yes, sheets to life.
It's a pretty long intro there.
It was very long.
I think it just told those stories, so I guess we can tell the...
We can just end the episode right here. 3 minutes into the podcast, we're done.
So, Brenna Thummler is from Pennsylvania. She's always known her life is haunted. Much like Marjorie Glatt, she grew up in a small Pennsylvania town where piano practice and ghost stories were part of her daily routine. It wasn't until she attended Ringling College of Art and Design. Is that like part of the Ringling Brothers Circus or something?
Oh.
Sure. However, that she realized her passion for storytelling as well as her hatred of laundry. So now back in her hometown, she spends her days drawing, writing, and suspicious of her sheets. So the story, as the overview gives you, is about her mother's died. It's her. Who else? What's her sibling? Is it a sibling or boy or girl? I forget.
Sibling?
Doesn't she have a sibling? Does she have a sibling?
Her sibling.
Yes, her sibling.
Sis boy.
Okay. Younger brother.
I was going to say sister. And then
Younger
realized
brother,
what
right?
was happening. Yeah.
Okay. So she's got a younger brother. Her father is in deep depression. Pretty much the whole story.
I don't think that the Ringling thing is
Part of the circus?
Yeah, no, it's definitely not. It's art and design. It's in
Okay.
Sarasota.
Okay. In Florida?
It's an art school.
It's in Florida?
Sarasota.
Oh, okay. And then after Pennsylvania, after going to school there, she moved to Kansas City. And then she ended up back in her hometown. And she must be happy that she ended up back there. But yeah, the story, got the depressed father.
Lost his wife.
He's not interested in running the business. So this 13-year-old girl.
I don't know that you can say he wasn't interested in running the business. He's depressed.
He's depressed. So it's not even a concern to him. He doesn't.
No, God, see, you don't get depression, do you?
I don't. Unfortunately, I don't.
It has nothing to do with it.
He can't control it.
He can't. No. I mean, if he were a real person and not a made-up thing, you can't control how you feel during
So
depression.
he could just lose the business and go into a deeper depression. And
maybe, yeah. I mean, you don't think about it. It takes effort to just get out of bed in the morning.
Right.
Yeah. Or when he eventually does. He joins them for a meal or whatever in one of the parts, and the younger brother says, "No, he's still in bed, or he's napping, or he doesn't quite get what's going on."
Right.
Yeah.
But yeah, and at the same time, they don't get into this other part, which is basically the whole story. Whereas this guy who is like this quote unquote wealthy man in town, wants to buy her business because he wants to open a sauna and a spa,
yoga resort that they're going to.
Yes,
they're gonna make this big resort, and let the family. That was part of it too, right? The family could run it,
right? Well, they could work there
or work there,
live there for free.
He wasn't gonna pay for the business at all. He was just gonna take it from them.
Yes.
And be kind enough to allow them to live and work there.
And you could tell right from the beginning he's kind of slimy and does small things like knows the way in, so he'll like find the key that's hidden outside and go in on his own. And
what
do
the
stuff.
hell was that?
And you knew that he was up to no good. Some incidents happen along the way, which ties the whole thing together with the ghosts and stuff. But yeah, you can tell that it's not good. And it has a nice ending, and it's a young adult book, and it tackles a lot of different topics, from the depression and death and what other things were there? I'm looking here. There was something else. And it's got very, the palette is interesting. It's very pale colors.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it
pinks,
is.
purples, and blues.
I did like the realistic art, too.
Yeah, it's pretty nice. There's an interview on lionforge.com with her. And they ask her some stuff about this specific book. This is her first original graphic novel. And came out in 2018. And she said that she felt that palette was the palette of a laundromat, soft and retro, a sort of new take on the 90s, which is where the story takes place.
Oh, okay. I guess I didn't realize that.
So she says that the pastels certainly mirror the mood, as they are mellow, dreamy, and fragile. And she hadn't used a lot of purple, so she wanted to use it. So in the past.
Oh, well, she definitely used a lot of purple.
Yeah. So, but it worked out nice.
Yeah.
I like the colors.
I did too. I was a little disappointed that the villains were all fat people.
Yeah, that is something.
Or both, I should say, because there was two of them.
And the one is a school person.
No, she wasn't fat. The bully person wasn't fat, but her one customer, the mother was the mother of that girl.
Oh, the mother of that girl, right?
And then the yogi
guy, the antagonist of the story. Yeah, he is too.
That's kind of
and that's a problem. And that's a problem. That's a stereotypical, like you mentioned before we went live here. Cartman from the heck's that called? South Park. And a lot of times it happens in movies.
Okay, look, Harry Potter. Harry Potter's another example. The cousin and the uncle.
The cousin, yep. Yeah, and that happens a lot of times. And that's, I don't know why fat is equated with being evil. I mean, what does that mean?
Yeah, it's awful.
It is. I don't know how. And that's something that.
Well, they do it with queer people too, like Jafar in Lion King. I've read a lot about stuff about queer.
I don't know what that means.
Jafar's.
I know, but I don't understand your point here. What are you saying?
They villainize minorities.
They make the queers or minorities evil too.
Yes.
Well, they still do it even in movies. Like the black person is the one that's like the bad guy.
Yeah.
Like we watch that. We'll watch even on commercials. Things like that.
God, yes. It's so irritating to watch commercials and see them villainize people of color. And it's just like you could have done anything. You could have gone any other direction, and that's what you chose.
Yeah, you could have made the black couple the ones that were the good people and the white guy chasing them or something stupid.
Never ever.
Always exactly. It's
so infuriating.
It's always the stereotype.
It's so infuriating.
And it just reinforces those stereotypes.
Yeah, it just
reinforces that a fat person is probably not a nice person, that they're mean people,
even though we suffer far more from bullying and all that shit.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I don't.
Not to say that every fat person is nice, because certainly, and not every queer person is nice either. But
exactly.
Anyway,
yeah, no,
just kind of gets at my.
No, you are 100% right.
Sticks in my craw.
Yeah.
But anyway.
Yeah. So let's see what else we got here in this interview. She also, one thing that, I mean, she talks a lot about how young people, everybody's lonely at some time, or they don't feel wanted or whatever. And
at 13, this character is
there's a million things going on.
I forgot that's how young she was.
Yeah, there's a million things going on in your head.
She's running a laundromat. She's raising her younger brother,
trying to probably take care of her dad,
taking care of the household. Yep, taking care of her dad, running a business. And like, part of me is like, who is like paying the bills? And at 13, I wasn't.
Well, they show one scene where the dad has all the bills. He's like on the table, he's got all the bills, and I'm guessing that he's not doing well paying them.
Right. Yeah.
But yeah.
But she's, taking the money from customers and stuff. Mm-hmm. Somebody came in to rob them. I mean, this guy broke in and she didn't even call the cops about him breaking into her freaking laundromat.
Yep. So, but let's then.
And who the hell thinks it's okay to harass a 13-year-old? And she's like, well, I'll talk to my dad about it. He's like, oh, no.
Because
that's not an option.
Because exactly, like a 13-year-old can make the decision about, wait, is the business in her name now? Or
no, I
is
doubt
it.
I doubt it.
Because it was her mother's business.
It doesn't say that, but it was the mother's business.
Right.
And she started it at 19.
Yeah. Right.
So she was young too.
Mm-hmm. Young, but she made it a popular business, and this guy just keeps sabotaging it to make it so it makes it easier for her to want to sell it, and it gets to the point where she wants to. She wants to just get rid of it.
Yeah.
And the father's like, let's just get rid of it. Let's be done with it. Yeah. It's one less thing he's got to worry about then.
Yeah, absolutely.
But then this whole ghost thing, Wendell.
Oh my God, we haven't even touched on the other side of that.
And Wendell is an interesting character. Honestly, the first scene where the youth ghost
it's like an Alcoholics Anonymous, but for
therapy
youth,
group, whatever.
For youth. Hi, I'm Wendell.
I thought they were kids with sheets on. Now I knew what the story was.
So it was actually anonymous.
So it took a while. I'm like, are these just kids in sheets? I'm like, it took several pages before I finally figured that they are. that they were really ghosts. I'm like, oh, okay, so they are. I wasn't sure if this was just going to be a play on it, like it wasn't really about ghosts. You know what I mean? But
Yeah, I didn't.
But
think
yeah,
that.
it is, and it's a fun story. It brings in that whole aspect about a kid being dead.
Yeah.
You know, he's dead and in whatever ghost life, and he's trying to reconcile
Ghost
that.
World. Yeah.
Yeah, he's trying to reconcile that. He was a young kid when he died, and he's having problems being a ghost.
Yeah.
You know,
I like that he lies about how he died, and he lies about
to the other ghosts that
the
already
other
know.
ghost kids.
They all know. All the other ghost kids are like, okay, Wendell, yeah.
Well, he
It's
has
like,
this very long, exaggerated story that, yeah, it was good.
but yeah, I get some of that stuff, and then eventually the stories mix together, and there's a happy outcome, and it's good. You know, it's fun. Now, personally, I don't believe in ghosts. I know other people who have claimed to experience ghostly encounters and stuff, but I have never experienced anything. Have you?
I've experienced weird things, but
When I went away
I
on vacation for a
can't-
weekend,
I can't say that. I mean,
what happened
it
that
really
time?
felt there was a pumpkin
Pumpkin.
on the there was a chest. We had a chest, and on the chest was a lamp, and next to that was a pumpkin. And I don't know, maybe gas was released from the pumpkin or something. I still have no idea what happened, but the lamp started shaking back and forth.
Oh yeah. And I had a friend who claims that his the water in his bathroom just turned on by itself.
Yeah.
Just by itself. And I have trouble believing that.
I think I mean, I remember being a kid and having a lot of loss in my life. My kindergarten teacher died halfway through the school year. My uncle died. My neighbor died. People who my grandfather died. Like, there was a lot of death in my life, I feel like, for a young kid. And I remember being really upset about my uncle's death and like talking to him, and like he didn't ever talk back to me. And so
Right.
like,
Which is normal.
right? Like, you're not supposed to be talked back to.
Mm-hmm.
But I think that because I believed that there was supposed to be an afterlife, and like people would talk about how they, you know, heard God talking to them or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I thought there was something wrong with me because I didn't
you
hear those
didn't.
things. And so, yeah, I remember struggling a lot when I thought about what could what's wrong with me. Why am
Well,
I?
you were only like 8 years old, right?
Well, I mean, I can remember
Last year.
Yeah.
Yesterday.
No, I can remember through a decent chunk of my childhood. I mean, I went to church as a kid, and my parents, I mean, they certainly weren't religious, I wouldn't say, but they believed in God, and so and I think identified as Christians, and I assume anyway. But my brother and I are both atheists, and so, or my brother might say agnostic, actually. But I remember like feeling like there had to be something wrong with me, because if this is true and this is true, but this isn't happening, then there's something wrong with me. And then I could think of all the things like, well, I'm doing this wrong and I feel this way. So, you know, like I'm queer, and so that must be why, you know, like you always hear growing, or, you know, being queer is bad. And so, and against the Bible and all that stupid shit. So I'm, you know, in my head, I'm like, well, I must not be able to have that, have my uncle talk to me because I'm queer, and so I don't get to have that spiritual I don't know, conversation, whatever. I don't know. It just sets kids up for feeling like shit, I feel like.
You never actually saw a ghost or yourself or anything?
No. I used to see shadows when I was little. I used to see
I did too.
Did you really?
Yeah, we had a dog named Shadow.
Yeah. No.
Saw her every day.
I know, everything you gotta make fun of. I would, in the night, I would like see these shadows of like one time I woke up and there was bears shadows. They were shadows of bears because it was dark.
In your bedroom.
I was sleeping. I slept in the living room because I was afraid to sleep in my bedroom. But yeah, and they were just all around me, and like they weren't doing anything bad, but it scared me. And so I woke up and was screaming, and my parents came running out, and they're like, "What?
Why? What was wrong with your bedroom?"
I don't know. I couldn't sleep in there.
The living room was a bigger room, wasn't it?
Yeah, but it was closer to my parents.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, that makes sense.
Yeah. It was like opposite sides of the house, and so I think just like being that
Right,
far away from
right.
them was too much, and they didn't let me sleep in their room anymore. So I had to go somewhere. Being right there was close.
So, Brenna Thummler,
Yes.
in this interview on lineforge.com, says that, and the question is, do you believe in ghosts? And she says, oh, yes, absolutely. I believe in ghosts. I believe I've seen ghosts, I should say. And everyone should remember that even if you haven't seen something, it doesn't mean it's not there. And that's a questionable statement. I mean, I will respectfully disagree because most people have never seen Santa Claus, but supposedly he's real.
No, nobody
no.
thinks Santa Claus is real.
That's my point. Santa Claus is not real.
Yeah.
But people, and
Claim that he is.
yes, and that goes along with religion too.
Yeah.
Nobody's. I don't care what anybody says. Nobody's ever seen Jesus or God or any of these people.
Yeah.
Nobody's ever seen them. All these televangelists can say whatever they want.
Yeah, that's what's so strange to me too, and why I felt like such an outcast, because it was like people say that they are, they hear the word of God or whatever. How come I'm not?
Dreams.
No, I think that people just make it up in their head. They are talking to themselves and think that
they just make it up.
Well, I mean, not that they're making it up. They probably really think that the voice in their head is God. You know what I mean?
Because we're all puppets by God's puppets. And according to them, we're God's puppets. He's got us like
playing house.
Marionettes. He's got strings on us.
I was just watching that episode of Bob's Burgers. Do you remember the episode?
Mm-mm.
The kids go on a field trip to this puppet.
Oh yeah.
Puppet museum, and the woman running it has them make these puppets. And oh my god, we went to a puppet. No, it was
tried to Marionette Museum
in Italy.
Was it in Sicily?
Yeah, and Palermo.
Yeah,
Palermo.
we tried to go, but it was closed the day we were there.
Yeah, so we went and walked along the beach and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
That was nice. Anyway, Bob's Burgers, so good.
But I mean, the discussion of that whole thing can go on forever.
I know,
because people are not going to be convinced. You can't convince people one way or the other.
That's not my goal, honestly. No. It's not my goal. I could care less what you believe if you're. I couldn't care less, if you believe or not. I mean, just leave me out of it, and I'll leave you out of. I'm not going to try and convince you that ghosts aren't real.
Right. I mean, didn't we watch that when they did that Halloween or New Year's Eve in Buffalo?
What?
They went to the
Central Terminal?
Yeah.
I don't remember that.
I'm pretty sure. One of those ghost shows went there and they spent the whole night there. And it was cool watching it.
Oh, we didn't watch it live though.
Yeah, we did. I'm pretty sure.
Maybe you went with your ex.
Maybe.
I definitely have never gone to something like that.
I didn't go to it. It was on TV.
You saw it on TV. Okay. Yes. Well, yeah.
It was live though.
You make it sound like
it was live. They were running. The whole thing happened as.
Okay, but there's things that they can do to make things look like.
Well, I know, like the meter peaked and stuff, and I'm like, oh, that's cool. Maybe they're.
Yeah, that's really cool. They brought a heat thing closer to it because that's all it really does is read.
Yeah,
heat.
I know. I don't. And there's like out here, and there's
another episode of Bob's Burgers about ghosts.
There's a whole thing out here.
It could be a microwave or a cell phone or radio, but I bet it's a ghost.
Who's that, Linda?
No, one of the ghost hunters.
Oh, one of the ghost hunters. Oh, yeah. It could be any one of these.
It could be any of these.
But it's probably ghost.
Oh,
that's right. They come into the restaurant, right? That's right.
Yeah. To find, oh man, what's his name? Oh, what's the ghost name? Come on, I've seen this episode a billion times. Come on. It's something so silly.
Harry McCracker.
No, but Louise is like, I named him whatever. It was like the stupidest name I could think of for a ghost. It's like John or James or something.
Oh, they capture him in a box, don't they?
Yes. What is his name?
Come on.
Oh man.
Oh, that's right. And because Tina's in love with him. That's right. Tina's in love with him.
I gotta figure.
And she's carrying him around, and then her friend steals him. And
no, not her friend. Her enemy.
Well, her frenemy.
Her frenemy.
Her frenemy. Yeah, steals him, and he's in love with her. Yeah.
That whole stupid thing. Yeah.
It is something like John. It's something weird like that.
I named him.
But,
It's the stupidest name I could think of for a ghost.
But anyhow,
Josh?
I mean,
Josh?
this story is good. Sheets is a good story. It's a fun, tackles a lot of different topics. A lot of different.
Jeff. It was Jeff. See,
Oh,
I knew it
Jeff,
was a J.
Jeff John.
Jeff, that's right.
It's a lot of topics that young adults would be able to understand. You know, the loss could be a divorce too. I mean, it doesn't have to be a death in the family.
Yeah.
You know, the father might be with the kids and the mother's gone, or vice versa. You know.
Yeah.
Or the partner, spouse, whoever it is, and and they just, they're dealing with that.
We talk about this a lot. Would you let Joanna read that?
This?
Uh-huh.
Oh yeah, without a doubt.
Really?
Without a doubt.
See, now that's...
why you think they'd be influenced by ghosts?
Yes.
Yeah, they are a little.
They get influenced easily. I think
they do.
They would be like, suddenly
see,
everything
there are
is
ghosts. Ghosts are alive.
Uh-huh.
Even though it's somebody drew them.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. I like the story.
Yeah, it was cute. It was a cute story.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So, anyhow, if you like our show, what should you do?
You should follow us on social media. You can find us at the Graphic Novel Podcast on Twitter and Instagram and Facebook.
Apple Podcasts. Go there.
Go to Apple Podcasts. Give us a rating. If you give us a 5-star rating and review, we may read it on the air.
We'll blow you a kiss too.
Oh, we'll definitely blow you a kiss. Yeah.
Without a doubt.
I mean, if you consent to that.
Yeah, I guess if you do. But anyhow, until next time, I'm Mike.
And I'm Parker.
And this is the Graphic Novel Podcast.
Thanks for listening. If you enjoy listening to our podcast, make sure that you like, share, give us a great rating. We love to hear back. You can find us on Twitter at Graphic Novel Pod, or you can check out our Instagram at Graphic Novel Podcast.
Or you can visit our website. We got a brand new website. It is graphicnovelpodcast.com. Or you can send us a comment or question or any kind of thing like that.
Yeah, we love hearing from our listeners.
Request for a book to be reviewed or anything like that to graphicnovelpodcast@gmail.com. And biggest thing, if you're listening to the podcast and you like it, visit your favorite podcast distribution host like iTunes or whatever, and give us a review. Give us Stitcher or Breaker, all them, and give us a review and stars, because that's...
Hey, if you give us 5 stars in a review, we may read it on there.
Yes, we will definitely, and that will help us expand the number of people listening to our show.
That's the best way that we can share our show is by our listeners.
That's right. So thanks for listening again this week.